In this video, we are going to practice making square and rectangular shapes that look convincing all together by using linear perspective. A lot of people call that using the vanishing point. For this, you're going to need either a triangle or a straight edge or a ruler of some sort. The first thing we're going to do is go ahead and create our horizon line, and for this activity I suggest it be about halfway down the page approximately. Now you want to keep it light because the fact is with these horizon lines you tend to erase most of them as you're drawing. I'm going to draw it a little harder so you can see it in this video, but you guys are welcome to keep it really light so it's just super easily erasable. Next thing I do is I establish my vanishing point. That middle part of the X is the place where I consider it to be the vanishing point. So we're going to repeat some of the things that we did in our last activity, which is creating some sort of building here on the left. The first thing I'm going to do is step number 1, which is to draw a vertical line that is the closest corner of the building. And buildings go way up above our eye level, so I'm going to go ahead and make this go nice and high in the sky, and then maybe some sort of equal amount below our eye level. Okay. So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is to head off to the vanishing point. Now I say head in that direction because I don't usually draw all the way there myself because it means more erasing, and erasing makes my picture look messier. So I'm going to go ahead and draw off toward the vanishing point. Now you definitely need to put your straight edge on the center of your vanishing point so that you don't end up with some wonky looking lines. It's not good enough just to make a line somewhere. You gotta make it going straight to that vanishing point. Now step number 3 is to draw the final line where I want my building side to end. Okay, now I just have a little bit to erase because I managed to do most of that. So now I have a nice clean looking building. This is eye level. I'm gonna erase most of it, but I wanna leave a little hint of it there just so that I can see where to make my doors. You want your doors to go above your eye level so it doesn't look like they are created for some very small people. Okay, I want to do the other side of my building, so I'm going to line up my straight edge. So I'm doing a perfect nice horizontal line. It's parallel to the bottom of the page. It's parallel to the horizon line, so it looks nice and sharp. Okay, there's one side of it, and here, my friends, is the other one. I'm going to go ahead and do the top line here. There we go. Okay, and erase the rest of my horizon line. Good. Okay, so another thing I want to show you now is something that's actually very similar to what we just did, step 1, 2, and 3, but this time we're going to create a door and a window at least one door and one window. So I'm going to go ahead here. And for my door, I already have the bottom line of my door pretty much, but I'm going to go ahead and make a vertical line that goes way up above that horizon line because the horizon line stands for our eye level, and I want our door to be above our eye level. So that's step number 1. We already have part of step number 2 done, but we need to do the top of the door. Now people are always tempted to do the top of the door just nice and horizontal because they know that the tops of the doors are horizontal to the earth, but my friends, because part of the door is further away, we need to make part of the door smaller, which means we need to do step 2, head off to the vanishing point. Okay, there's the top of my door, and it slants down. It's not parallel to this because each of them is slanting down in a different position, but the thing that they have in common is that they're all heading toward this vanishing point. And then I need to do step number 3, which is again a perfectly vertical line straight up and down that'll show the opposite side of that door. Okay, so now I have a door that makes sense with the building, how the building is. The next thing I'm going to do is show you how to do a window. So for the window, I'm still just following those 3 steps that we've been practicing over and over again. And this, my friends, is the window. So first thing I'm going to do, I like it to kind of line up with the top of the door more or less. So I'm going to do it above my eye level and below my eye level, like a nice big window looking out onto the scenery, the street, whatever we have there. Step number 2 is again to head off to the vanishing point. And you can make this a really big window, or you can kind of make it a small window. It's up to you. I am lining it up actually with the top of my door so it looks nice, but you can make it taller if you want, or shorter. If yours is not a store or a house, but rather, say, a prison, you could you could make a skinny little window, I guess. Okay. Okay, here we go. And now I'm finishing off my window shape with a vertical line. And I'm lining my triangle up at the bottom. You can line your straight up at the bottom if you like. And I'm erasing extra bits so it doesn't look messy. Now folks, we have a very nice skeleton of a building. I wouldn't call this a drawing of a building. Buildings have all sorts of cool details. They have colors, they have shading, they have dark and light values. But this will make your square and rectangular shapes look convincing, like what we're used to seeing if we're looking down the side of a building. Okay. In future lessons, I'll show you how to 3D the doors and do detailing around the windows and all sorts of things. But for this, I just want you to practice doing those at least once. Now, if you're really a hotshot, you can go ahead and put another tall, skinny window above the door, whatever you want. Now, the other things I'm going to do are draw a road that has an intersection on it, and I'm going to draw some flower boxes on this side, okay, using the skills that we used last time. I think I'm going to start with the flower boxes just because we've practiced them before. So I'm going to make this one really far off on the right so that I have space to draw my, what do you call those things, to draw my road. So I'm going to make like I'm looking at the front of the flower box, and then it's going to head off into the distance. Now you can make these whatever you want. You like to skate, go ahead and make them some sort of skate activity, you know, the kind that kids are always jumping up on with their skateboard. So I'm going to actually do this. I want to make several flower boxes. So I'm going to make a few bottom lines of the flower box heading off into the distance. Just guesstimate. So I'm going to make 3 of them. Okay. So I made 3 lines. You could just make a single line and then you could divide it up in a minute. Or if it's just too much to work on 3 at once, you could go ahead and just do the front one if this is all new to you. Okay, so I'm going to work on the front one from now on. I just went ahead and did that. Oh, sorry, I lied. I'm going to do my 3rd part of step 2, doing that closest line, going off to the vanishing point. So these are little lines that are set up for making those so they match this one in the future. If these are too much for you to like think about, then just focus on doing this front one, okay? All right, now I need to do step 3, which is to go ahead and divide and finish off my flower box here. I did a vertical line there to do the back side of the back end of the stuff of the side. And now I'm going to go ahead and line my straight edge up to the side of the page and do a vertical line. One thing that might help some of you is I actually back my straight edge off the corner a little bit so that I can get my pencil into that space and draw the shape. Because sometimes otherwise my pencil line's like a teeny bit above where I want it to be. So I just back my straight edge off a little bit. Okay, so I have the beginnings of a nice, you know, wood or concrete or whatever flower box, but it's just the skeleton right now. Okay, so I could go ahead and do the same thing with these, and again it's just like drawing the exact same thing, just a little smaller. And mostly because I already have step 2 done, this is all just perfectly straight up and down lines and perfectly horizontal lines, perfectly vertical, perfectly horizontal. There may be a little overlapping, but I know that you know how to do overlapping, because we practiced it last semester. I'm getting kind of small, so I'm definitely backing my straight edge off the corner a little bit. Oops, I didn't make that line quite long enough. Just going to extend it to the best of my abilities. And go ahead and do another horizontal line here. Oops, a little overlap. And another vertical line. I'm just going to freehand that one. So some people love to draw with rulers and straight edges. That's what kind of artists they are. It's their style. Not all of us do. I do not actually love drawing with rulers because I have such a loose, messy style naturally that those straight lines look really different from the other kinds of lines I tend to make. So once you kind of get the knowledge, a lot of people actually do away with the rulers because they know how to use the idea that these lines need to go to the vanishing point. Okay, so it's up to you in the long run, but for now, of course, I want you to try your hand at using rulers just because they can really teach you how to do this. And you can make some just really amazing looking environments by trying this stuff out. Okay. So like I said, if you're new to all of this, you can just focus on getting this front one. But if you're pretty comfortable with these skills, I'd like you to try to do 3, like a row of objects. Okay, a row of rectangular objects. And again, I am, oh, sorry. There we go. Okay, doing step number 2. Well, it's kind of like a backward one because we started with step 2, but truth be told, I give them steps in an order, but really, like, you can do the steps in any order. Sometimes people will draw the, what do you call them? They'll draw the back lines first, or whatever makes sense with your drawing. Depending on what you already have drawn, sometimes it makes sense to start in other places. But for now, you can always go with the steps that we have gone over. Draw the first part first, lines to the vanishing point, and then horizontal and vertical to finish it off. Okay, so I have 3 lovely planters. The last thing we're going to do in this particular activity is to draw a street going and intersecting and having a little intersection. And this is probably the easiest thing you'll ever do. It kind of starts with step number 2 because there really is no front edge to a road. I'm going to leave some space on either side and go ahead and just draw lines heading to the vanishing point. I want to leave a sidewalk around my planter boxes, so I don't want to make this road too big. And I'm making this end extend a little bit more because I want to do an intersection. I love doing this intersection. Just makes me so happy. I need to leave a little room here for the, oops, I need to finish this off here. And a little room here for the sidewalk around the building. Or not. Maybe this is one of those buildings that's right at the edge of a road. So I am really trying to line up my straight edge so I get a nice horizontal line. And I'm going to go ahead and make a little curve here because curbs are often curved. Okay, so I have a road. You can go ahead and do the, try to divide it in half visually and go ahead and do some long lines. It gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller as I head off to the vanishing point. Okay, and then they'd stay pretty small out here because it's far away. Okay, so there you go, my friends. We have a skeleton of another environment. Now, you of course are welcome to add to this if you have other things you'd like to do, but for me, this is what I want to see for today. Thank you.